Jadon Sancho's fall off needs to be studied. A player that used to strike fear into the heart of defenders, now a shell of his former self. Today, we're going to take a look at Jadon Sancho and his journey from Watford to the biggest stage of Old Trafford. Let's take a look at the downfall and potential rise of Jadon Sancho. Now, you guys have probably seen this banner in my bio. It is completely true. At 10,000 subscribers, I will be getting that Paul Pogba haircut. Hit that subscribe button. And if you don't believe me, I said wallahi. Sancho was lighting the world on fire, a young star fresh out of the Manchester City Academy, signing for Dortmund for a fee of 8 million. It was here at Dortmund where the world became familiar with Sancho. He would team up with legendary players like Haaland and Marco Reus, and he would make his name. But it was also here where he would draw the interest of Manchester United. Now, unfortunately, the saga with Manchester United and Jadon Sancho, it took quite some time to have this done, but eventually he was signed to Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for a record fee of 73 million pounds. Jadon Sancho has returned to England, ready to set the Premier League on fire. Now, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Jadon hardly ever played actually. He very rarely started, he was always on the bench, and he hardly got some playing time. A lot of people looking back on this kind of like to rewrite history, but it wasn't until interim manager Ralf Rangnick that Jadon Sancho got to see the field. And luckily under Rangnick, Sancho was one of the most consistent players, only second to Cristiano Ronaldo that season. Sancho did his part, he drew in defenders, he drew attention to himself, he distributed the ball, got assists, scored goals, he did everything you needed a traditional winger to do. Sancho was there every time his name was called. This was very helpful, especially with his fellow English comrade, Marcus Rashford, recovering from a back injury and surgery, dealing with some form issues he had that season. It was very nice to have a player of Jadon's stature there to support Marcus Rashford. United had a rough season. Ronaldo had a record season of 24 goals in his return to Manchester United, and unfortunately, the best that they could get that year was Europa League. And that is where legendary Ajax manager Erik ten Hag took the job as Manchester United Football Club. Here begins the downfall of Jadon Sancho. Now, Ten Hag continued to start Sancho, even leading to Sancho scoring a goal against Liverpool, sitting down Jordan Henderson and Virgil van Dijk to send the ball into the back of the net. Sancho was still carrying his weight and contributing to the team. It wasn't until later in the season when Sancho's form severely dipped, leading to Ten Hag recommending the player to take some time off to deal with his mental health issues, sending him to the Netherlands to train and heal individually. Now, the public still does not know what Sancho went through. Secret sources inside, they do say that there was some family issues back then. We're not here to speculate. We're not a TMZ channel, right? All that we know is that Sancho needed a health break and he took care of himself, and Erik ten Hag was there to support him for that. Sancho came back, they finished the season strong. Manchester United secured a third place finish, their highest place since former manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Manchester United were back in the Champions. Now, Manchester United, they made some nice moves that summer. They got rid of David De Gea, they brought in Andre Onana, they brought in Sufyan Amrabat, and they signed in a couple more players. They brought in some support, and Sancho has returned once again. Sancho started the season with Manchester United up until the Arsenal game, where the infamous Twitter incident happened. Now, with this Twitter controversy, Sancho took it upon himself to defend himself and his honor against his manager after Erik ten Hag poorly scapegoated Sancho and claimed that he wasn't performing in training, which is why he wasn't selected for the Arsenal game. Now, because of this Twitter incident, Sancho was completely banished from first team. He was banished from all facilities, he was training individually, he was eating by himself. He spoke up against the manager, and the manager did what a manager should do. Now, a lot of people were saying that Erik ten Hag was too harsh with this, but you're forgetting what legendary coaches do. Like Sir Alex Ferguson chucked a boot at David Beckham. He got rid of Roy Keane. It broke his own heart to do this, but he sold Ronaldo after Ronaldo requested to leave. Elite managers do what they need to do for the team to succeed. So Erik ten Hag holds no blame for how he dealt with Jadon Sancho's incident. But this was the beginning of the renaissance of Sancho. Sancho has returned to his boyhood, his manhood, whatever you want to call it. He returned to his teenagehood club of Dortmund. He signed a loan contract to complete the season with Dortmund, and he was back. Rejoining Marco Reus and his former fans, Jadon Sancho found himself. He was dancing through defenders in Germany, and he was lighting the world on fire in the European Cup. Sancho was back. He scored some crucial goals and had some nice assists in the Bundesliga and the Champions League, even contributing to Dortmund's push into the Champions League final. Now, if only they didn't play the great sorcerers of Spain, Jadon Sancho could have won a Champions League, and that could have really harmed Erik ten Hag's legacy at Manchester United. Banishing a player that went on to win a Champions League without you is quite the statement. Returning to the Bundesliga, Jadon Sancho had 14 appearances with 2 goals and 3 assists, and scoring a goal of his own in the Champions League, helping his team secure a spot in the final. Now, after many different reports suggesting that Sancho would leave, Sancho has found himself back at Manchester United. Now, at the time of recording this video, there's claims about PSG negotiating and the player potentially agreeing to terms. I haven't seen anything from Fabrizio, so I'm not trusting that. But can Sancho get it done under Ten Hag now? There's a clear skill gap between Germany and England. Sancho proved that he can do it in Germany, and he went back and proved that he can do it in Germany again. Is he ready for the rise of the Premier League? It appears that the relationship between Ten Hag and Sancho has healed. Ten Hag even handing Sancho a starting position in one of their preseason games. He's come out and stated publicly that the beef is over and what happened happened. Can Sancho get it done? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below if Jadon Sancho can redeem himself in the Premier League this season, and if Manchester United should sell Jadon.